6 months after the HFY Concordat built a prison for humans, the prisoners ran it. The warden just didn't know it yet, but 6 months earlier, on a barren moon, a Terran infantry squad laid down their rifles. The HFY took 300 prisoners without a single casualty. They were loaded onto HFY transports, bound, tagged, catalogued. The ships flew across half the sector, to a prison no human had ever seen. Warden Tarvak had built it to crush the will of any species. He told Concordat Command it was inescapable. He was right. Prisoner 7421. I've answered to worse. He walked into the main cell block. The vertical drop and metal catwalks were designed to induce terror. Robert's eyes moved, counting guard posts, not admiring the view. 3 guard rotations per level. Good spacing. Need more blind spots.
Let them keep their confidence for now. In my prison, it won't survive the first month. They'll be fighting each other for scraps.
6 months. They just don't know it yet. Outside, the guard towers swept the perimeter. Inside, a man sat in the dark, smiling. The prison had already begun to change. The first days in the yard were chaos. Most prisoners clung to their fear. A few did not. Robert spotted her on the second morning, a woman sitting alone, back straight, watching. You are not dead either. That makes 2.
3, if you count the old man who sleeps through the count. But you are not looking for survivors. You are looking for something else.
Guard rotations shift every 4 hours. The cameras pan east to west. Blind spots at the mess hall entrance and beneath the laundry catwalk. On the 4th day, 2 prisoners clashed over a ration pack. Before the guards could react, Robert stepped between them, his voice low and unhurried. You both just gave the guards a show. Save the fight for someone who deserves it.
He didn't threaten them. He just made them feel small. That's better than a fist.
I've seen this before. A dominant male emerges. They always burn out in a month. Let him tire himself.
We need more people who can think before they swing. You have the look. Keep your eyes open. By the end of that first week, a small circle had formed. Quiet conversations, unspoken allegiance. The warden still believed his prison could break any human. He was half right. In a blind spot beneath the laundry catwalk, 12 prisoners sat in a loose circle. No guards patrolled there. Robert's voice was low, unhurried. No single leader. We vote. Survival means acting as a unit, quiet, invisible. Anyone who can't follow that, walk away now.
And if a guard ever asks, we're just friends passing time. No records, no ranks. The only proof is in the results.
Within days, a system emerged. Mira organized a work trade. A repaired cooker bought a full meal, a mended uniform, earned extra blanket strips.
You fix the cooker, you eat. Not charity, trade. We're building something they can't see, and it starts with a full stomach.
2 weeks in, a fight erupted over a stolen portion in the mess line. Before any guard moved, Mira, who's already between them, her voice like a blade.
You think a stolen ration is worth a beating? Take it up with the council tonight. Or stand down now and keep your dignity.
They solved it without us. The humans have their own rules, and they're not the animals the warden promised.
The young guard watches everything. Not hostile, curious. That kind of mind can be opened. By the end of the first month, the council held 12 members. A web of favors stretched across the block, and the warden saw only orderly prisoners. But a young guard had seen something more. 2 months in, a brawl over sleeping space erupted. The council held a hearing, assigning guilt while guards watched uncertain. Blankets for 3 nights. That's the cost of the first punch. Next time, think first. The warden passed the yard window and stopped. Below, prisoners sat in a circle, speaking in turns. No shouting. No chaos.
This isn't natural. They're not breaking. They're building, right under my eyes.
That night, Tarvak came to Robert's cell. Cold stare. No guards. Just his presence and a question.
You think you are clever, but I've broken stronger wills. You'll be fighting for scraps soon enough.
A cage doesn't decide what happens inside. We do. You built the bars, Warden, not the rules.
He's not afraid, not angry. That's worse than defiance. He knows something.
The next morning, Torvak ordered random searches and constant monitoring. Every guard was to report any human cooperation. Robert heard the orders, then looked at the camera above his door. He smiled. The warden was pushing, but pushing meant he was already losing. Random searches tore through the cells. Guards overturned bunks, emptied lockers. They found nothing but a few personal carvings. They'll never find the real system. It's not in the cells, it's in the trust between us. That evening, Kesh slipped a micro receiver through the bars, scavenged from a broken guard's console in the laundry blind spot.
I didn't know if you could use this, but you seem to know what you're doing. I want to help.
You've already helped more than you know. When the time comes, you'll know. In the workshop, Mira's crew repaired a guard's comm unit. The guard, grateful, overlooked a missing tool. A favor was logged.
Every repair buys us a blind eye. Soon we'll have more eyes shut than open.
Warden Torvak reviewed the reports. No contraband, no networks. Only a prison running quieter than ever.
They're hiding something. Double the monitoring. Isolate Robert, cut him off from the others.
He's trying to isolate me. But the network runs on its own now. Time to bring in more guards. Through Kesh, Robert began to reach the other guards. Small gestures first. A cup of brewed tea, a sharpened blade.
They trust me because I am the quiet one, but they're scared. What do I offer?
Don't ask for loyalty. Ask what would make their shift easier. Then give it. They'll remember. Soon, a guard slipped Mira a shift roster scribbled on packing paper. In return, she passed him a small carved figure.
Art for intel. Every shift change, every patrol gap, we now have the skeleton of this prison.
Tarvak noticed glitches in the tracking logs. Guard reports delayed, prisoner counts fudged. He blamed incompetence.
Lazy fools. I'll have them rotated if this continues. The system is sound. The staff is failing me.
By the end of the 3rd month, the Council's intelligence network covered every guard station. Half the staff was in their pocket. Half the guards now work for us, knowingly or not. The warden complains about glitches he can't see. He's the glitch. Tervak still believed he commanded this facility. In truth, the prisoners had built a second prison inside his own, and they held the keys. Tarvak's voice boomed over the speakers. Full lockdown. Every cell searched, no yard, no mess. Find what they're hiding. Guards tore through the block, ripping mattresses, dumping personal stashes. Every seam, every hiding place. They're looking in the wrong places. The real tools are in Kesh's locker, in the guard's own supply closet. You won't find anything. But keep looking. It's your job. The search turned up nothing. Tervak sat in his office, staring at blank reports, talons tapping the desk.
Impossible. They must have warning. Someone is feeding them information.
The lockdown lifted the next day. Prisoners gathered in the yard, not to riot, but to sit in quiet assembly. Mira stood at the center.
The council will hear any dispute. Bring your case, not your fists. That's how we survive.
He gave us a reason to unite. Nothing binds people tighter than a common enemy. From his window, Tervak watched. A prisoner court, orderly and calm. He had tried to break them and only made them stronger. By the 4th month, the prisoner's economy ran deeper than the one outside. A full meal cost a repaired relay. A warm blanket was worth a shift's silence.
HFY Command is stretched thin with border conflicts. They've sent no reinforcements. This place is forgotten.
Robert and Mira pored over the prison's layout, marking every blind spot, every camera lag. They now knew the warden's daily habits better than his own guards.
We have 2 allies in the control room. They'll feed us the override codes when the time comes.
Prisoner 318 will be executed at dawn. Insubordination will not be tolerated. Let this serve as a lesson.
The council acted that night. A guard owed them a debt, The execution order disappeared from the system. The prisoner lived. Tarvak received the news with cold fury. Someone had deleted the file. He stared at his own officers, accusation in every glance.
He's looking at his staff the way he used to look at us. The distance is crumbling.
With the control room compromised, every door code and patrol route was now catalogued. The prison's bones were theirs. The warden still wore his rank, but Robert knew the man's every step, every breath. Only the pretense of command remained. A HFY inspector arrived. Tarvak greeted him with a forced smile, certain his suspicions would finally be vindicated.
You'll see. These humans have built something dark beneath the surface.
He always telegraphs. We've been ready for this inspection for weeks.
Prisoners walked in perfect lines, guards at rigid attention. The yard was a picture of order.
Eyes down. No chatter. Today, we're the model prisoners this prison claims to hold.
The inspector questioned a guard, who assured him the prisoners were docile and grateful. By midday, the inspector left. His report praised the warden's facility as a model of efficiency.
They praised me while ignoring the rot. I am surrounded by blind fools.
Concordat Command is investigating Tarvak. His constant complaints made him look unstable.
Now we have room to finish what we started. No outside interference.
Tarvak slammed a claw onto the console. The transfer orders flickered, then died with a red error code he'd never seen.
Sabotage. I am surrounded by traitors and fools.
The warden has a failsafe, poison gas. He can flood every cell from a switch in his office.
A dead man's switch. We'll need to secure his office before he knows we're coming.
3 days later, Mira intercepted a coded burst from orbit. The fleet would arrive in 3 weeks.
3 weeks. We need the prison in our hands by then.
Final phase. Secure the armory, the control room and his office. Quiet and clean. No one dies unless absolutely necessary.
By morning, 20 teams had their targets. The prison's nervous system was mapped, every node set to fall.
3 weeks. After 5 months, the endgame begins. All the pieces are in place.
In his office, Tarvak stared at the silent communication panel. He still believed he was the hunter. In the dim light of his cell, Robert motioned Mira closer. The only sound was the distant hum of the prison systems.
You've been asking the wrong question. Not how do we escape. The question was always how do we take it.
I knew there was something more. You never cracked, not once. What's the real play here?
We were sent here. 300 hand-picked organizers. The prison wasn't a failure, it was the insertion vector.
Mira's eyes widened, but she didn't interrupt. Robert spoke of Terran Command needing eyes inside HFY command structure, of a plan months in the making.
The fleet is coming, but they're not breaking us out. We open the doors from inside, on our terms. This prison is already ours.
All this time, you've been building a bridgehead, and the warden thought he was the one in control.
He never was. We needed a clean handover. No bloodshed, no martyrs. That's the only way this works.
No escape. No last stand. Just a quiet transfer of power that will have already happened by the time anyone notices.
In the silence, they understood. They were no longer prisoners waiting. They were the ones who would hand the warden his own surrender. Drafted from a cell, in the cramped supply closet, Robert faced the last hesitant guard. The insectoid's eyes darted, his claws trembling.
When the fleet arrives, any guard on our side gets full amnesty. No trials, no retribution. You have my word.
The guard exhaled, then pressed a data chip into Robert's palm, the final shift rotation, every gap marked.
It's done. Every guard station has a sympathizer. The last holdouts are isolated.
In the maintenance crawl space, Mira rewired the warden's audio feed to a loop. His office would broadcast only silence and routine. Tarvak slumped in his chair, a bottle of HFY spirits half empty on the desk. He no longer reviewed reports.
Let them plot. Let them think they've won. A dead switch is still under my claw.
When the fleet arrives, we don't fight, we don't barricade, we just open the doors.
And the warden, What do we do with the man who built this cage?
He'll sign the terms of surrender, drafted right here. Then we walk out, and this facility becomes a Terran forward base.
3 days before the fleet's arrival, Mira's workshop crew completed the short-range communicator. Its signal punched through the prison's jamming field.
Signal received. Fleet command confirms approach vector. We're green.
In his cell, Robert hunched over a tablet, fingers tapping the terms of surrender in clear, precise language.
No loopholes, no ambiguity. He'll sign because he has no choice. He just doesn't know it yet.
In the yard, a prisoner stumbled into a tool cart, sending wrenches clattering across the concrete. Guards tensed, weapons half drawn.
It's nothing. Just a clumsy fool. Back to your posts.
Warden Turvak, drawn by the noise, scanned the yard from a catwalk. He saw only a guard handling a minor incident.
So disciplined. Too disciplined. No, it's nothing. I am jumping at shadows.
Robert found Mira by the mess hall. They spoke in low tones, the weight of months in their voices.
3 days. After 6 months, it's almost over.
A red alert flared on every console. Warden Tarvak saw the sensor feed and slammed his claw on the lockdown. The fleet was hours out.
The warden's ordering hostage protocols. Every prisoner to the yard now.
Any hostile ship will be met with execution. The humans are shields.
We move now, quietly. No shooting unless we have to.
Phase final. Take your positions.
Prisoners and complicit guards slipped into predetermined positions. Control points fell without a sound. In a maintenance tunnel, a prisoner opened a panel and cut the alarm circuits. The cell blocks would not lock. In the control room, a guard entered a code. Camera feeds looped. The warden would see only what they wanted. Robert stood in the corridor, watching the silent activation unfold. His face was stone. The die was cast. In his office, Tarvak reviewed the hostage plan, unaware that his prison was already slipping from his grasp. The armory door slid open. A prisoner team moved in, and the HFY guards inside simply nodded and handed over their weapons.
Control room secure. All doors to the warden's wing are sealed. We own the building.
Then a small light blinked on Mira's console, a silent alarm. One loyal guard had reached a panic button before being subdued.
You want my prison, then you die with it.
A low hiss echoed through the ventilation shafts. The dead man's switch was live. If his claw released poison gas would flood every cell.
Robert, we have a problem. The warden's got a dead man's switch. If he drops it, we all go.
Then I'll go talk to him. Alone.
Minutes later, Robert stood before the warden's sealed office door. The lock light glowed red. Heavy breathing echoed from within.
Warden Tarvak, I know you can hear me. Open the door. Let's talk.
The door remained sealed, but the hiss of the gas line was a reminder that the standoff was only beginning.
You built a prison that can't be broken. I respect that. But we were never trying to break out.
You think you've won. I can kill everyone with a twitch of my claw.
But you won't, because you know it's over. The ships in orbit are Terran, and they're here for us.
Lies. You are a prisoner, a cornered animal puffing up to look larger.
Robert held up the tablet, its screen displaying the tactical feed. The Terran fleet filled the orbital tracking array. Tervak's eyes flicked to his own console. The red contacts were real. His claw trembled on the switch.
It was all a lie. My prison was never meant to hold them. They were sent.
The lock on the warden's door clicked open. Torvak stepped back, keeping the detonator visible.
Thank you. Now let's talk about how this ends, without anyone else dying.
Robert stepped inside. The door hissed shut behind him. The gas line was still live.
We were never prisoners, Warden. 300 operatives, hand-picked, sent to study HFY Command. The fleet was always coming.
You've been running my prison from the very start.
Yes. And now I am offering you a way out that doesn't end in a mass grave. Full amnesty for every guard who stands down.
Prove it. Show me the fleet.
Robert pointed to the window. Through the dark glass, the clouds parted. The shadow of a Terran destroyer broke through, hull like a blade.
It's real. Every warning, every delay. They were never trying to escape. They were waiting.
The warden's claw relaxed. The dead man's switch clicked softly onto the desk.
You have your terms?
On the tablet. Read them.
Outside, the destroyer hung in the sky, silent. Inside, the warden picked up the stylus. Terran landing ships descended through the cloud layer, engines flaring. Captain Lynette stepped onto the dusty yard first. She expected a fight. Instead, she saw Robert waiting at the open main gate, the HFY warden silent at his side.
I was told you'd need a rescue. It looks like you did the rescuing.
The prison is secure. The warden has agreed to cooperate. No casualties.
The main gates swung wide. Terran Marines moved in, met not by fire, but by prisoners who guided them to control points. In the monitoring room, Kesh still wore his guard uniform. He handed over the security grid to a Terran officer. HFY guards were disarmed, led without struggle. Some exhaled as if a weight had lifted.
It's done. The prison is ours.
On the landing pad, Captain Lynette extended her hand. Robert took it. The handshake was 6 months overdue.
Welcome to the HFY Concordat's finest prison, Captain. It's now under Terran management.
In the warden's office, now crowded with Terran officials, Robert laid the tablet on the desk. The terms waited. Torvak read the words. Acknowledgement of defeat, cession of the world, amnesty for his staff.
6 months. They were never contained. They contain me.
It's more than you'd offer us. Sign, and your people go home unharmed.
The warden's claw trembled, then pressed the stylus to the screen. The signature flashed once, binding.
On behalf of the Terran Confederacy, I accept these terms. Welcome to a new chapter.
What will you do now? Go back to your fleet, your medals.
I am going home. That was always the mission.
Outside, the prison stood silent. Inside, the men who had been captives and captors and captors shared a breath of something like peace. The clipboard of history would record the formalities later. For now, a prisoner had handed a warden his surrender in the yard. Kesh approached Robert. The young HFY wore civilian clothes. His uniform and its rank were things of the past.
You kept your word. My family will be safe. I never thought a human could give me that.
Mira found Robert at the edge of the yard, watching the last supply crates being loaded onto Terran transports.
We built something here that could last. A council, a court, a way to solve problems without violence.
But it's over. They'll tear it down or turn it into a base. Either way, we're not coming back.
Captain Lynette met him on the landing pad an hour later.
I've got a promotion for you, Robert, Lieutenant Commander. You've earned it.
I accept. But I need time. There's something I have to see before I leave.
He walked to his old cell. The door stood open. The bunk was stripped, the walls bare.
6 months. In this box, I mapped a revolution. Now it's just a room. Time to go.
1 month later, aboard the Terran carrier Resolution, Robert stood in the observation lounge in civilian clothes. The prison world shrank below for 6 months. Those walls had been his cage, but they had never held him. Down on the surface, the facility already looked forgotten. The HFY Concordat never rebuilt. Weeds cracked the landing pads. At its heart, a small metal sign marked what once was. A plaque listed 300 names.
Don't need to read my own name. Every day of those 6 months is written on my skin.
He turned from the glass. A small, knowing smile settled on his face. In the viewport, the planet was a shrinking crescent. The prison was just a dark smudge.
Not every victory roars. Some are drafted in a cell, late at night, by a man who never stopped believing.
And for the first time in 6 months, Robert felt the distance between himself and home closing. He was going home. That had always been the mission. Robert walked the Terran base corridor. The civilian clothes traded for a uniform. The weight of 6 months lightened with every step. Ahead, Mira emerged from a side junction. She wore the same uniform, her sharp features framed by officers' insignia. They said nothing. A single, slow nod passed between them, an entire conversation in the slightest motion. Then they kept walking, in opposite directions, the past already behind. The memorial hall stood quiet. A digital plaque listed 300 names.
I know I'm there. We all are. That's enough.
Years later, the prison lay abandoned. Rust and alien vine claimed the walls. At the entrance, a simple metal sign remained. Here, 300 Terran prisoners turned captivity into victory. They never broke out. They never needed to.